want to give you an image from John of the Cross, which Ruth is very keen on too. And that is how earlier on in the spiritual life, images are really important. And later on, I'll give you some stuff from Thomas Keating on this too. And how later on, it doesn't work through images, but it works, as John of the Cross says, at a certain point, all the deep things work beyond your own knowledge. So, when you read this stuff, you'd automatically say, John, what are you talking about? Okay, well, let me give you what this image means. Imagine this. I'm going to give you a human image, then we'll apply it to prayer. Imagine you have a mother, okay, who's retired and is in an assisted living senior citizens home. And you are the dutiful son or daughter who happens to live 5 miles away. Your sister is conveniently living in Alaska, which is good for her. She wants to see her mom once a year and take care of her. But you do it 5 nights a week. Every night after work, you stop from between 5 and 6 o'clock, and you help your mother have her supper, and you talk about the day, and you get her adjusted for the night, and so on. And now, you're doing that 5 nights a week, regularly, year after year. During the course of a year, how many times do you think you'll have an exciting conversation with her? Once, twice in a good year? And what are you doing the other nights? You're talking about the weather, how she's feeling, did the kids come home, the terrible Jell-O she's eating, this, that, and so on. And you're looking at your watch 2 or 3 times, and at 6 o'clock you're going, did you have a good visit with her? Absolutely. Because at that level, it's not so important that you talk. You do this year after year, slowly you will get to know your mother more deeply than any person in the whole world. And your sister from Alaska, who does come home once a year, and her, your mother, they're crying and gushing, and they're great to see you, and they do have a deep conversation, because she only sees her once a year. That also happens with prayer. If you pray every 6 years, you're going to have a real deep experience. Jesus found me, it's wonderful, and so on. But you haven't been at church for 6 years, If you go twice a day for half an hour, after while you're sitting, you're looking at your watch. But the deeper things are happening under the surface. See, at the beginning, the stuff happens on the surface. After a while, you know why you don't talk to your mother? Because there isn't anything to say. It's been said. Presence, you're there. In contemplative prayer, why do we stop with the images? Because they're done. You don't need them anymore. This is Thomas Keating's image. You're all familiar with it. When Keating defines centering prayer. So imagine this. He says, imagine the bottom of the ocean. You have a mother fish. You've heard the image, but I'm going to take it one step further. And one day the little baby fish come up to the mother and they say, Mother, tell us about water. What's water? Okay. Well, they're in it. They're swimming in it. So how can the mother, they can't get out of it, okay? Now, this is where I'm going to improve on Keating's image, okay? Now imagine that the mother was a very sophisticated technological young fish. And she'd tell the fish, now sit down, and she'd bring down a PowerPoint, and she would do a PowerPoint presentation on water. This is Niagara Falls, this is a water tap running, this is the Pacific Ocean, this is the Atlantic Ocean, here's what a storm looks like, here's a lake, here's, this, all kinds of slides on water. And for a while, they'd be pretty excited. Now, the irony is they're sitting in water, and they're watching slides, which are digitized, they're not real water, and they're getting a nice image of water. But now back to Keating. Keating would say at a certain point, the mother fish turns the slides off. She said, look, there's no more sense watching them. First of all, they're not water. Those are images. Same as Scripture. You know what the Bible is? It's not God. It's a PowerPoint presentation about God. And so is every statue and lords and everything else. What I'm talking about today, these are little PowerPoint presentations. They're not God. So centering prayer in Burroughs that said, at a certain point said, turn off the projector. Just turn it off, okay? And now you're sitting in the water. Let it flow through you. And some will have dirt in it, some will have seaweed, some will be clear, so, and you're just sitting in the water.